Democratic Party, AacParty, Mr. 𝗗𝗶𝗹𝗂𝗲.
Thank you, my brother.
The presidential candidate for the
Thank you, sir.
Professor Peter Umani. The presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party, Mr. 𝗗𝗶𝗹𝗂𝗲. And the presidential candidate of the Zenith Labour Party, ZLP, Mr. 𝗗𝗶𝗹𝗶𝗂𝗲.
How are we?
Is there any problem today?
No quarrel.
No quarrels.
Any problem today?
We don't sign peace accord now.
Because his friends are not here.
What I was telling your friend that day, 𝗗𝗶𝗹𝗃𝗃, you know, you're sitting here, having a country, you're talking about peace. How is that? Your regular friends are not here.
Thank you so much.
Try and give me the number to you.
I will definitely.
No problem.
What did you tell me? Try and listen.
Oh, you should have done that a long time ago.
Okay. Sorry, please. I'm the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress APC, 𝗗𝗶𝗹𝗶𝗂𝗲. I begin to understand that is higher sense of representation.
I thought this was for presidential candidates and not reps. No representation, I beg. We don't want that one. Eugenia Abu is like 60 years old. Eugenia Abu now.
Yeah. Very sound.
Cheers.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. 𝗗𝗶𝗹𝗂𝗲, who is also the Director of Legal Services, the All Progressive Congress Presidential Council, who is representing the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Council. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much.
No seat for APC for you.
Again, it gives me very great privilege to invite back to the stage
That's what I thought too.
It's an interactive session also.
It's an interactive session for presidential candidates.
That is here. Let him take the fullest votes.
This one will not reach. They know what they are doing. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. A very good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Mr. President, should I proceed? I should proceed. Thank you, Mr. President. May I, moderator of this session, say that I am particularly pleased to have the array of presidents in the room. And in terms of percentages, I would say that if we have all those who are here at 98.5%, then the NBA has done very well. Because those who are here are physically present at 98.5%. If there is a slew of complaints or anomalies, is an error of margin of 1.5 to create the indulgence presidential candidates as peace-loving persons to allow. And having been one of the panelists many years ago, I'd like to the most important reason stand up of Nigeria just enough. Our fellow people who are your followers the tape forward and be ready to have anything thrown at me because I've chosen to serve. Candidates here present, all of them in their finery, please give them an NBA round of applause. I'd like to thank all of you as a moderator. Not by I trained for and God has gifted me. Loving Nigerians, interview angry Nigerians, interview people, privileged position this afternoon. I'd like to say that all the presidential candidates who have made it to this place are those who believe that they have something to say. this year. And those who have not made it have something to say, but unfortunately are unable to make it. So for me, those who are physical are the ones who will have a conversation with Mr. President, correct? It doesn't make the others who are not here any less presidential candidates. So at this point, I would like to say that the plan we have for this conversation is to take each theme, look at it from the prism of the eyes of the preparation of each presidential candidate, and go from one to the other. We will make a general position in terms of just a generalist comment of an overview for 2 minutes for each presidential candidate on each topic. And then we'll come back and give them the opportunity to speak for another 3 minutes in closing. So it's a bit at the top of its head and in reverse, because at closing, 3 minutes at closing, first 2 minutes of each by welcoming the presidential candidate of the Zenith Labour Party, Mr. 𝗗𝗶𝗹𝗂𝗲. I'd like to welcome you, sir, and invite you at this point to speak to the issues of security and what your party has to offer in that respect. Mr. 𝗗𝗶𝗹𝗂𝗲, Zenith Labour Party. Please encourage all the presidential candidates that are here. We're looking at security, sir, and I'd like you to tell us in 2 minutes what your party has.
Well, Mr. President, you see, when you send your invitation, political parties, presidential candidate, we can. The intent was not for any presidential candidate to send somebody to come and debate with other presidential candidates. As a lawyer, we don't sit down and address the court. I have a very brilliant background, a good PA. I could have debated all this issue. But because as a member of the bar, and the new president is my good friend, since this democracy, I cancelled all that appointment. I don't think it would be right for us to have a party here and send somebody below position of a presidential candidate to come and debate with the presidential candidates. A similar thing caused problem in Arise town hall meeting, where the presidential candidate sent advice. The next day they stopped. See, Nigeria is not moving because we don't obey rules. We think we can just sack things. You have the right to come or not to come. But not to send somebody to a presidential candidate. I am going to speak based on the respect I have for this association and for the president and this person. Ordinarily, I am not doing. And I wouldn't like to blackmail and see it doesn't have the temperament to do. That's why I have to make my observations known. I don't know what to ask.
Your observations are well noted, and we would like to thank you for the respect to the NBA president. More than anything else, I believe that Nigerians would like to hear your voice, and this opportunity should not be missed, in spite of the 1% error of margin. I thank you very much indeed.
On security, I won't go into too much details. You see, this security we have today in Nigeria, by lack of political will, take decisions. When Boko Haram came in, it was treated with gloves. It spread across the country. But you have a leadership that knew what to do. They refused to do it. I will always quote Governor Alan A. He said, we know where they are. We listen to their discussion. But when we send signal, nothing is done. It is possible by the use of technology to cover all the ungoverned places before you spread it across the country. Through technology. All the other places and if possible across the country. So that you start at the point, you can see what is happening in different parts of the country, particularly those spots. Today, people are killed, people are kidnapped, women are raped, and nothing happens. Criminals are caught. The next moment, they are back on the streets. So who is deceiving who? That is the main thing we have to address. Insecurity all over the country. There's no part of Nigeria now that is not feeling it. Every part of Nigeria is not feeling what is happening. And we cannot move out. I will have a total overhaul of the security and the country. So, you have people who play experience. But when you get to the point, you don't see anything. You don't know whether they are part and parcel of this security or whether they are the ones causing it. The issue of ransom has helped. My government will not negotiate with terrorists. I will smoke them out. I will meet them where they are, and I will leave from the front.
Zenith Labour Party has spoken. Please give a round of applause to Mr. 𝗏𝗏𝗏. And we would like to thank you for your candor. Thank you very much indeed. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, Ibrahim, your Progressive Party. You have 2 minutes to talk to us about security. Is that microphone working? There you go.
Mr. President, members of the NBA, and fellow presidential candidates, thank you for having us here. The word security context always connotates men with guns, women with guns. The biggest problem with security in Nigeria is the lack of power, electricity. And here people see people, even this 400 million that was spent in Abuja, without power, it's useless. A camera without power is useless. A phone without power is useless. We need to get the security profile of Nigeria back on track by providing that human right power, and that will give us better security. If we miss this opportunity, we're going to find ourselves in deeper trouble where we are. Power gives you the ability to see, to hear things, and it also gives you the ability to react. And react is what we don't do on time. We see things after the fact. Why don't we see them when it's happening? The panel earlier on security was talking about England, within 200 meters, another camera will carry you or catch you or do whatever it needs to do. But without power, you can have all the cameras around this hall. Without electricity, nothing would happen. So we cheat ourselves, we use the wrong kind of analogy, and we don't look at fundamentals. and the fundamental to building a great nation is power. And that power also helps you when you're talking about prisons. How do you know who is the prisoner? How do you know if your judicial system is not well powered? Rely on the information that has been gathered, that is not on a piece of paper that can be easily eradicated. When you have an automated, electronically functional system with national servers, you get the kind of law you need because there's traceability. And this is a fundamental element. But one more thing in security that's important, it's not just about the man and woman carrying a gun. Food security is important because if you have a full stomach, you're less likely to do something stupid. Criminality can also have a root cause in hunger of the stomach. This is a fundamental part of what we miss as governors, as administrators in a country such as Nigeria. Food security is important. Health security is important. Because if I cannot get my mother into a hospital, I'll do whatever I can do. If criminality is involved, I'll do it. But if there's a healthcare system that I know at least gives her a fighting chance, I will take my opportunity because I have a good job and because I have a system that takes care of the needs of my people.
I'd like to stop you there, Prince 𝗏𝗏, young Progressive Party presidential candidate, speaking on security. I'd like to adjust the plan in timing a little bit on each of the topics, then everybody will then have 3 minutes of an overall conversation. So that gives you a little more time than just 2 minutes on each of the topics. I would like at this point to invite Mr. 𝗏𝗏, presidential candidate, Social Democratic Party, to speak in 2 minutes on security.
Thank you very much, President of the NBA, ex-members of the NBA. Before my 2 minutes starts, let me associate myself with the position taken by my colleagues here. Out of respect for the NBA, which over here, in similar forum, we always told them, if we invite president candidates to discuss, as if somebody who actually is contesting, then somebody can deny. Okay, but with respect to security, the first thing that will guarantee security is to elect the proper commander-in-chief. And that commander-in-chief will set up the proper government. Now, there could be differences in statistics, in doctrine, in methods. If you elect my brother Malik, he's not going to govern the way I will govern. Same for any other person. However, fundamentally, there must be a government in place. And once you have a government in place, you will not see many of the elements that you see today. What is happening in Nigeria is that because we have incumbents, but there is no government. That is to say, so if someone is the Minister of Defense, he's not going to be somebody who just sitting down there ignorant of what is going on. The National Security Advisor has to have a coordinating power, not just somebody hanging on to the job with their life. But institutions also should work. The armed forces, Navy, Army, Navy, Air Force, other services, the police. But what I want us to understand clearly that's going on in this country today is that we are assuming that security means law enforcement or public safety. Security means people in the country being able to have a psychological state of mind that the system works for them, and then they become supportive of the system. What is happening here, which we are coming to correct, is that right from the president and commander-in-chief to the vice president, to people who work in the state house, to the ministers, they are sabotaging the system. Because their objective and their purposes conflict with the public interest. You are using security to raise funds for your party. Already there's a conflict between your personal interest and the political and the public sector. If you are promoting people in the armed forces relative to your personal agenda rather than professionalism, so these are all the problems that we are facing. So in essence, let me summarize by saying that we don't have any unique security situation in Nigeria. Our security situations are mild compared to powers of our size. Turkey, Egypt, South Africa, and all of that. What is giving us headache is that we don't have a government in place. So a simple situation that should be dealt with by a constable or a divisional police officer is now becoming a major crisis, and that is the system we need to put in place when we go forward.
Thank you very much indeed. You have heard from Mr. 𝗏𝘁𝗶𝗵𝗂𝗲, your presidential candidate, Social Democratic Party. At this point, I'm going to go to the presidential candidate of the Action Alliance Party, Major General Alhamza Mustafa. Major Alhamza Mustafa retired. Forgive me. Major Alhamza Mustafa retired, presidential candidate, Action Alliance Party. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you so much. Let me start by rendering my sincere appreciation to the and his ESCO for the thought of coming up with this seminar at this point in time. I will go ahead and put my 2 minutes starts now, if you don't mind. Nigeria has come a long way, facing abuses. Some understood, some contractually done between elites and their friends in Nigeria and outside. It's a country moving on boardwalks of compromises. Facts. Nigeria is facing a very unusual situation. Therefore, Nigeria requires an unusual approach if we must be. I listened to the panel on security. I listened to the panel on security. If you don't mind, I give you this. Thank you. Sorry about that. I listened to the panel on security. Let me say with all sense of humility, looking at Nigeria from the immediate issues will just take a president, no matter how vibrant, into the office, just doing the routines, and you will not see what the end result. It's a target. It is a country that is endowed. So therefore, looking at Nigeria from a security point of view, and from the current military structure, paramilitary, the support into the police, and now civil defense additional, Joint Intelligence Bureau of Nigeria is not enough. A country will know itself first. Now the question you may ask is, what makes Nigeria, in the eyes of the world, God has endowed you with every single aspect of known or resources known to mankind. Therefore, Nigeria will remain a target. Nigeria has just been there, a targeted country that will never be allowed to meet her aims. And this started from 1972. That's why a panel like this, the title State of the Nation, is so fundamental such that all other members of the intelligence community, especially the Office of National Security Advisor, should come forward to tell you, even at the periphery, what is the state of Nigeria. We are beating about the bush. Because of time, I'll tell you this. Up until we did our homework 5 years, 8 months, and we are sitting on data. Unless, and of course, you bridge gaps between the roles of the military that is conventional, roles of the police and now civil defense, which to me is just additional police. Because police train them, and so they must behave like they are master. We haven't started as far as internal security is concerned. Insurgency in Nigeria is an investment of some people, killing us, destroying us, and we are not using our heads. You require something that will bridge gaps between conventional security, gaps, border, gaps, your waterways, gap, your mountains, gap, your forest. You require a special body that is visible in terms in the country. And in most cases, that's where most of your natural resources are kept by God Almighty. From the quantum and the quantity, from the little sizes we have, from the world markets, it shows that Nigeria requires something new, additional to what you have. Because threats will start and continue. For our waters, you require coastal guard of two types. And finally, thank you. Well, coming into the country, we require new orientation if we are sincere. This country is very sick. There are numerous facts that we don't know yet. As far as our security is concerned, we require total review, and we should not be a copycat. Electronically, you don't have a satellite. So Nigeria requires national electronic agency that will provide the electronic services not only to security, but your economic management, including the law and dispensation of justice.
I need to stop you at this time. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
That's your intervention. You have heard from Major 𝗗𝗶𝗹𝗂𝗲, Action Alliance Party presidential candidate, and I would like to go straight away to Mr. Sowore Omoyele Stephen, African Action Congress presidential candidate. Would like to hear from you in 2 minutes on security. Major 𝗗𝗶𝗹𝗂𝗲 had some interruptions with his microphone, so it gave him a little bit of an edge of like maybe 5 or 10 seconds. So there you go.
Thank you very much. I think I want to thank the leadership of the NBA for inviting us. The last time this was done in Lagos, it was pre-planned that some candidates will appear, get clapped for, and the NBA will end its NBA conference. Thank you for bringing all the candidates. You can see these are the real candidates in this election. But I think you did one thing today. You wanted to see if any of us will fall asleep so that you can compare us to the old candidates. And I hope we disappointed you. Let me say very clearly, because there's no time, we must understand fundamentally what the Nigerian security architecture is about. Nigeria security is not meant for Nigerians. Nigeria's security system is for the elites, those who empower. Nigeria's security system, therefore, operates what is known as a police state. All our policemen, our electronic system, our investment in recruitment, the judiciary, is meant to protect those who are in charge of Nigeria, the owners of Nigeria. Abuja tells you all of it. You can find more policemen about 1 mile square here than you can find where Boko Haram is ravaging Nigeria. I drove from Zamfara, or was it 𝗏𝗏𝗶𝗶, to Sokoto. There was no single checkpoint. But if you threaten the Nigerian ruling class today, you will find that you have security in this country. And as most of you know, I'm a regular with the courts. I have over 3 criminal cases, including one that will come up tomorrow for cyber crime. I have another one, treasonable felony. My prosecutor before is seated here, S.A.N. Liman, who prosecuted me unsuccessfully for treason, and after that he abandoned the prosecution. I haven't seen him until today. So I greet you, you are welcome. He's now representing 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. And I must say to you as well, that for us to get a Nigerian security system for the Nigerian people, the Nigerian people must be able to vote for a Nigerian leader. Because any leader that is voted for religious reason is going to be the leader for the religious movement. Any leader that is voted on ethnic basis can only represent his ethnic concern. Any leader that is voted on the basis of any primordial sentiment will only represent that primordial sentiment. And that's why Nigeria is where it is today. Go and ask 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 if you could reach him. Why did they kill him? For the Nigerian elite. They killed him because he touched their most important anointing oil, crude oil. They killed him for it. They would have killed me had Lehman not abandoned the case. Because he was brought in to carry out that, but at a point he decided that he couldn't continue with it. And I must tell you that they will kill any one of you. And let me say this, because I know time is running out, that when it is time to protect the elites, you will find some of the best lawyers in this country. You will find some of the best judges in this country. You will find some of the best policemen. In fact, when the elites are concerned, you will know that there are electronic devices listening to every device in this country. When the elites are concerned, you will find cameras that are working. But when it is for the Nigerian people, there's nothing that will work. But I would say also that in an attempt to muzzle and cow the rest of us, they have also done themselves in. Because in an attempt, for instance, that we don't get to hear from the terrorists, they have also disabled the listening devices because they are committing crime as well as leaders of this country. One last thing I will say, which is important, is that we have not gotten to a point where Nigerian leaders understand security. Because the first security, which I agree with everybody here, is that human security. You cannot push 133 million people into multi-dimensional poverty and you are talking about security. It won't work. You cannot have an account general that stole 150 billion naira and spent only 2 days in detention and is likely to be the governor of the state next time, and you can have security. You cannot have people above the law and some other ones beneath the law and expect security. So what Nigeria needs is a leader who understands the importance of human life first and foremost. Not a leader who has the highest number of lawyers defending it. As I said, and I'll say finally here, there are great lawyers in this country, but ask yourself, which lawyer has a pro bono service to defend poor people in this country? Most of them know. When NSAS happened, the Nigerian bar station did not raise films across the country. I'm saying it to you. If you have, show the person to me. While NSAS was going on, they were doing meetings with Speedel in Ibadan and having great conferences. And I must thank the Nigerian bar station. You guys have some of the greatest conferences every year. Here you spend 1.something billion naira on conferences, but it is time to start spending that money on poor people, defending them and getting them out of jail. Thank you.
I'd like also to place on the table that we should stay with the issues for which we are going to discuss. If you want to tell Nigerians about security, let's stay within the ambit of security. There will be opportunities to talk about other things. And also, I'd like, as the moderator, to say, and this is something that most presidential candidates that I've encountered have met when I'm working, it is critical that we focus as a people and as presidential candidates on the issues at hand, so that